Dragoon and Astrologian reworks have been delayed to 7.0, and I'm slowly coming back to life, probably at maybe 40 or 50%, but good god, what a week it's been. But when I opened my DMs, it was like being bombarded by 1,000 little suns. So it's time for me to talk about my thoughts on the fact that these job reworks are delayed. So first up is Dragoon, which my thoughts are really simple on this announcement. Thank God. Thank God for the delay. Dragoon is frankly in a really good place right now, and with very minor changes that we'd like to see. I, however, know many people may disagree with me on that, but I do hold fast to my opinion. Dragoon on the whole is fantastic. I just finished the 7 reasons to play the Dragoon video, like 2 weeks ago? I meant everything I said in it. It is a fun, well-oiled machine, so it's harder to find anyone that actually wants to rework the Dragoon. Rework has a more severe connotation to it. Now the caveat to that is, does that mean the Dragoon is without flaw? No, hell no. Such as Life Surge is a combination of a defensive and an offensive button, which, flavorful as that is, and I think it's neat to have like a diversity of abilities, we might want to step it back a bit and split into an offensive and defensive button, kind of like how Monk's Riddle of Earth isn't a side effect of Riddle of Fire or something like that. Just gives it a bit more usability, because it's like, okay, sure, I might want this defensive in this case, but that's not at the same time as I want to use my DPS cooldown all the time. But largely, Life Surge could even in and of itself be argued to be put into the damaging effect of an ability's damage without even needing to press that button or have that button exist whatsoever. If button bloat is your goal to reduce, this is a great choice. A second thing that we could look at is Battle Litany's drawback of not synergizing well with Samurai Warrior and other guaranteed critical strike jobs is something being addressed, and so we're moving on from that. Which brings us to the last drawback in my mind, the last major thing that I'd want changed, which is getting into Nastron with a Stardiver combo does take the Dragoon a long time, and so that's not the best feeling, because that's not going to be in your opener. So some way to get this faster during an opener would be the change that I'd want to see here. But that's like the long way of saying that Dragoon could do with like 3 relatively minor changes and be perfection, or very close to job perfection in this game. It's already very close, but with those I think it'd shove it in the like somehow a better direction. I made the joke before, and I'm going to say it again because I'm totally lame that way, but Dragoon's rework delay in the first place was probably because they were trying to find out who actually was asking for a Dragoon rework. I'm joking, I'm an idiot, but you know it's the truth. Now that brings us to my thoughts on Astrologian being pushed back to 7.0, and I'm torn into kind of like nocturnal versus diurnal stances about Astrologian. Yeah. No, that was terrible. Yeah, that was terrible. On one hand, though, of course I'm discouraged. That sucks that it's delayed. On the other hand, Astrologian right now is an extremely strong healer. I can't emphasize that enough, and prior to White Mage getting massive buffs was literally highly prized and chosen over White Mage in literally all situations. There was very few situations that an Astrologian didn't win over White Mage hand over fist. As White Mage was literally choking, begging for any MP, Astrologian was just like, lol, I have infinite MP, lol. In fact, Astrologian has now solo healed the brand new ultimate. Solo heal. That's absolutely mind-boggling. Solo healed the new ultimate, and you want to tell me Astrologian is bad? Here's where I make a joke of pass me some of what you're having, but I really don't think I actually want that. That's too much. But it's always the weirdest thing for me to hear Astrologian is bad. White Mage, frankly, was not even close to meta before the buffs that it got. And while yes, I cleared the tier before the buffs with White Mage, my boyfriend, and I'd never really thought White Mage was objectively horrible. It was never unclearable. It was always a very good healer in my mind. I recall explicitly for all the fights, yes, I'm talking P1, P2, P4, and obviously P3, which Macrocosmos trivialized the whole Life's Agonies mechanic undeniably. Remember keenly too well, that many party finder groups, obviously not all, but many had White Mage slots blocked off. Like, you couldn't join them if you were a White Mage. Like, it was just like, we could have a Scholar, we could have a Sage, we could have an Astro, but not a White Mage. Obviously, me playing Sage a lot at the start of the expansion, that was still a thing, but to a lesser degree for that juicy Scholar expedient, so people wanted that. It was really Scholar with Astro was what you wanted to have. But Astrologian, though, through Endwalker, has been strong and continues to be. If I'm honest, I find it just so disconnected for people to say Astrologian is bad. Like, when I recall me and my boyfriend pugging together and him being kicked literally because he was a White Mage, that was his only fault, and this happened a few times. That's what the party leader even said to me, because I'm just like, oh, why why are we back in the PF with the kick? Like, what? Like, obviously I left the party too, but that happened a handful of times. Like, that's where I actually lived at. Here's where my opinion is gonna get a bit spicier here, because honestly that was a bit of a tepid take. Like, if any of that shocked you, why did that shock you? Astro's very, very good. In terms of the spiciness and why I'm not happy about not getting a rework yet is that Astrologian, I am still super unhappy with losing Nocturnal Stance. I'm not happy about that one bit, and I still feel to this day it's a huge loss. I used to play tons of Nocturnal Astrologian because bears have always been my thing, and it's a loss because bears plus the card system minigame was fun. Through Heaven's Ward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, that is literally 6 years of it, and then just taken away. That feels horrible. That's 6 years. Some of the parents that I talked to that play 14, that's older than some of your kids. That's a long time. And then just poof, Thanos snapped. I'm like, the hell? Now, obviously through the years the card system has changed, but fundamentally I could always do cards and buff allies and have the Astrologian experience and the barrier heal. It was a fun minigame. I just find it such a loss, and so for that I'm genuinely sad that the rework is going to be like a year and a half away at least. So c'est la vie, I guess. To be clear, because people are going to be like, oh, you hate Sage and Scholar. No, a Sage and Scholar are fantastic. I adore them. They are my mains, but neither of them feel the same as Nocturnal Astro did. Like, I don't know how to convey it to someone who only just started playing and never touched Nocturnal Astro before. It feels totally different. That's not even mentioning the card system. Well, right now, it's what I would call in a good place numerically. It does its job, and it does its well numerically. But it is also extremely busy, but it also kind of burned the entire idea of tarot and luck of the draw and such, and it also really does have a significant number of button bloats. I'm not sure if it's something weird in the back end where you can't have a rolling cooldown and timer on the same button, but the chart, I don't know if that makes sense. For many people I know, actually that's an understatement, many people that I know that use third-party tools just to deal with cards, which in the name of Yoshi P, I do not recommend people use because that is against the terms of service. To be quite clear, don't do it. But these friends and people that I know just use it to largely help with the card system. We would genuinely benefit tremendously from health bar mouse over macros that are snappy, cueable, and collapsing some of the actions together. But I think the bigger deal to me is the card system just eliminated any and all aspects of the like tarot reading the stars and divining different fates. I have some ideas on the card system, what I would do going forward, but I'm going to save that for another video because I felt I've gone enough here and I'm losing my breath really quick. Guys, I'm not healed up at all. My point is, while the current ass state is undeniably powerful, it's effective. You'd be a damn fool to say otherwise. I actually feel sad at the loss of potentially more interesting card system, as well as the loss of Nocturnal Astrologian. Like, it's going to be 7.0 before I even can have the hope of it back. That's a bummer. So now we're at the end of the video, and I want to just thank you all so much for all the kindness and love lately. I actually sound so much better. It's kind of wild, but good lord, I lay down, I'm not able to even sleep, and so I'm definitely on the upswing, but probably a few more days of this before I'm better. Like, even in this recording, I am losing my breath and like pausing and just going and like before I miss. Also just sleeping, just laying in bed, not thinking about the billion positions I need to position my pillow in, and just still waking up every 2 hours just choking. But that aside, I'm doing far better, and thank you all for all the love and kindness. It means the world to me, it really does. Anyhow, take care everyone. I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.